welcome to a couple of expats. I'm Gabriella and this is John, and we are a couple of expats from the US living in the Netherlands, and we are a couple. We are now on episode 4. Holy moly, that's crazy. 4 episodes into this now. And this week we have a very special Netherlands exclusive edition. We are going to be talking all about the tulips here in the Netherlands. As well, as you can see, we are dressed for the occasion, sporting our bit of orange today, as a national holiday here in the Netherlands is coming up this Saturday called King's Day. King's Day, where everybody wears some orange and celebrates the now King's birthday. So we are ready to celebrate and party hard. Okay. Let's just go ahead and jump in, starting with our weekly catch-up of the week. We haven't had any crazy travels, so there's nothing crazy to talk about here, but anything you want to touch on just in the past week that other than tulips? We did a lot of tuliping this weekend, but anything you want to touch on, John?
It's really cold here for some reason. Awkwardly cold for this time of year. But hopefully it'll get warmed up. It hasn't been raining consistently. It's just been kind of off and on. And now it's actually really pretty out. It's blue sky and not many clouds, but it's like 40 degrees. This morning it was like 36. So very unusual weather going into May. And actually in Austria, they get a lot of snow. So
weird weather all around.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes, but hopefully it warms up soon. Hopefully for this weekend during King's Day, it'll be warmer.
I think we just aged ourselves. We literally had nothing to talk about that's been going on lately, so we resorted to the weather. We just aged ourselves there. For me, nothing much to say. No cool experiences. I've had this recently, other than actually the tulips, which we did this past week. So let's go ahead and dive into the pretty little tulips here. If you guys don't know, tulips are, I don't want to say native to the Netherlands because I did some research on this, but they export tulips and flowers all over the world. There's millions and millions of tulips grown here each year. And in the spring, particularly like end of March, pretty much through April into the beginning of May. All the tulips are in bloom. It's beautiful. They plant them all through the city. There's even some wild tulips. So as you're just going about your day, you see like little bouts of tulips in all different colors, which is super pretty. And then, of course, they have the famous tourist attraction, something that was on my bucket list for many years and I was excited to see, but the famous Keukenhof Gardens, where they spend a year creating this like amazing, beautiful garden that's huge. I think they have over 1 million visitors each year in the short 6 weeks that it's open.
It's pretty crazy. There's just like an ocean of like tour buses and cars, and they do a really good job, I think, organizing public transportation to it as well. But even around there, you can like rent bikes and just go like ride a bike in like the tulip fields and stuff. It's pretty cool.
It's very cool. But before we jump into the tulips, because I did a little bit of research, I'm going to share some history about the tulips that I learned and I thought was really interesting. I don't know if you know any of this, John, but if you know more, feel free to jump in. But tulips are actually not native to the Netherlands. They were brought here in, I saw some articles saying the 15th century, some saying 16th century, so a long time ago, by the Ottoman Empire. They brought them here because of the specific conditions the Netherlands allowed to make sure they could grow beautiful. So they said wet, low-lying conditions. I'm no gardener, so I don't know exactly what that entails, but it was a great place to grow tulips. So they brought them here. And then they started blooming, became beautiful. And even in the early stages of this, flowers, these tulips were so valuable and so precious here. They were the most preferred flower in Europe. And a single bulb, they said, could sell for more than 10 times the average annual income, which is great. Like a single bulb. Like literally today I went to the grocery store and bought a full bouquet of tulips for €2.99. And here they're making millions, the equivalent of millions off a single bulb.
I hear that the bulbs down at the flower market, very rarely do they actually turn into tulips. They're just kind of bulbs of whatever.
Really? So John's talking, well, that was our followers, especially if you've never been to Amsterdam. Let's talk about the flower market. You go ahead.
There's just like a little street downtown in between Rembrandtplein and another Plein. And
so center of Amsterdam, basically. It's known as a floating flower market.
And essentially it's just, you can go down there and just get seeds and bulbs and whatever type of stuff you want. They do say that they're certified to go to the US, but I would wait. If you're visiting, I would wait to get your bulbs in the airport because those, you know, for sure you can take those on an airplane. So otherwise it's kind of like you need to have like your certificates and all that sorts of stuff. And I don't know. I think it's overpriced in the city center. It's probably still really expensive at the airport too, but it's probably a lot easier and more convenient so you don't have to worry about the customs hassle thereafter.
Absolutely. But so the floating flower market, you'll see it as like a top tourist site. That would be actually on a tourist don't do list for me. It is so underwhelming. It's literally like kind of a regular street. It's not floating whatsoever. And it's just full of overpriced souvenir items. So
there's a cool map store there on that street.
But that has nothing to do with the tulips.
Yeah, that's true. The guy does have maps from like the 1500s, 1600s, which are pretty cool.
Yeah, but we're talking about the tulips. Like, if you want to go see maps, go see maps. But, boy, do you say go to tulip floating flower market or skip it?
I mean, I would definitely go, but I probably would just walk right through it. There's not much there.
Yeah, go back. Go Starbucks is right there. Go get your coffee there. Walk by and continue about your day. So let's kick it back to Keukenhof. Me and John have both been twice. We went the last 2 years. First year we went, beautiful sunny day. Second year we went, rainy, cloudy day. Not as beautiful, but it was a really cool experience. It's something I was really grateful to definitely do at least once. Very fortunate to get to do it twice. Could have done it a third time this year. There's still time. Don't have any plans to. But to this year is actually the 75th anniversary of Keukenhof, which would kind of be really cool to see. The tulips are pretty much peak season right now, so that like mid-April time. If you want to see everything bloomed and beautiful, 100% mid-April is that prime time.
Yeah.
So if I go now, I won't see them in full bloom. That's a little unfortunate.
I did actually see them last year on like the last weekend or 2 years ago, maybe the last weekend that they were open. And it was actually already kind of a bit sad when I was leaving or when I was there because the guy was already like the crews were already starting to like trim the tulips and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely go early part or mid part of the season because the tail end, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty cool just to see the variety of tulips. They actually like interbreed all these tulips. So you just get these crazy different tulips that come in the way they plant them into like I remember one time there was just like a sea of blue tulips so it literally looked like you were like going down a river of tulips. You were just viewing it.
Very cool designs.
Yeah, it's very intricate, very well thought. It's like a big botanical garden. So pretty much everywhere you go, there's tulips. And they have, I want to say they might have some events. Well, I couldn't tell you what events,
No, I think
but
they do too. Yeah.
there's definitely a lot to do there. They have food trucks, they bring in food, obviously lots of tourist options. We've only been on the weekends, and I kind of regret not going during the
It
week
was busy.
because during the weekends, yeah, it's insane. And last year we went, so we went during the big tulip parade, which we got to catch the tail end of this year.
Yeah.
So
pretty cool.
for your information, Keukenhof is not in Amsterdam proper. It's about
It's kind of
30, well, past the airport. It's like a 30-45 minute drive. That might be stretching it away. So it is in, I want to call it Lease, but I was kindly educated on how that is not how you pronounce it today by a friend at the gym. So I'm going to butcher it. If you guys can help us with the pronunciation, greatly appreciate it. Just send out the phonetic spelling to us because we want to make sure to pronounce it right. But yeah, so you have to actually get there. You can get there with public transportation. That's how we've done it in the past. And it's probably the top recommendation because if you take a car, you're stuck in traffic. Obviously, you're not walking there, it's too far. You could bike there, but again, super far. So you actually buy a combo ticket that includes your public transportation to the site, to and from Keukenhof, which is what we've done. You can start at the airport in Schiphol, or you can start at RAI, the like convention center. Yeah. So I think that's really cool. So what is your thoughts on Keukenhof and what would you recommend?
Definitely recommend taking public transportation because it is busy there. Probably going during the week too. And then maybe doing one of the tulip bike tours because I know that they have. They also have a tulip helicopter tour where you just like cruise in a helicopter over the tulip fields, which is kind of cool. And then they have a tulip train, which we saw this past weekend, which was kind of cool. But yeah, there's a lot to do. It is very pretty cool to see like what they're doing with flowers. Like it kind of sounds like a weird thing, not that exciting, but it is pretty cool how they like the designs they put into the ground and the colors that they match the bulbs, and like they must really know like, hey, this is going to sprout a red tulip or a purple tulip or whatever. And they have it really down to a science now, so they do a really good job. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also kind of important to note, I would say, that all the tulip fields that you see in all these pictures of Amsterdam, that's not Keukenhof. They have some tulip fields nearby, but you actually have to venture out in a car to go see those, which we've never done. But I think next year we should make an effort to go be a little bit more adventurous and see some of those tulip fields on our own because they are beautiful and they smell so good. No one really talks about the smell of the flowers, but oh my gosh, delicious.
Yeah,
as I would say.
During the tulip parade, you could smell a lot of the tulips as they went by you, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, well, this was the first year we actually saw the tulip parade. So it was something I really wanted to do. So they have all of these floats that are just like very extravagant, and every single part of it is basically covered in tulips with like tulip structures, tulip designs. It's pretty incredible. So it starts in Lees, I think that's how you pronounce it, and travels up to Haarlem, which is towards Amsterdam, but not quite in Amsterdam. And we caught the end of it in Amsterdam this year. So we went out to Haarlem, got some dinner at one of my friend's partner's burger joints. If you like American burgers, let's give a shout out to Grilling in the Name. That's what it's called.
That's right. It's a play on the band Rage Against the Machine, but it was probably one of the better burgers I had in the Netherlands.
Yeah, get good You get different burgers here, but you want that American style burger. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was really tasty.
But we went out there and we waited for a little too long in the cold. It was cold. We didn't actually see the floats till about 10:15, 10:20 at night, which is really late. I think we were both kind of over it at that point, but it was beautiful. I think the people in the parade, they had been going for like 5 hours at that point, and we're at the tail end. I'm pretty sure they wanted to stop too. But the smell coming off the floats and it was just incredible. I kind of regret. They also in Harlem the next day after the Tulip Parade, they have a big, I guess you could say, showing or viewing of where they display all of the floats, and you can go see all the floats up close. I kind of wish we did it in the other way around and really just went to go see the floats, especially in the daylight. I think you'd be able to appreciate it more, and take good pictures.
Yeah.
I definitely did not get any good pictures of them. But what did you think of the Tulip Parade? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was okay. It was a little like spread out, so it was like by the time we left, and then I saw pictures of it afterwards. There's like a lot more floats, but it was like, yeah, we probably would have been there till midnight at least, right? And by the time we got back to Amsterdam, it was already like 11:50 at night. So we definitely would have been there for a while, I think, if we were to stay for all of the floats. So, but it was cool. It was nice. It was cool to see like all the different sponsors. I guess I didn't realize. I mean, just like in a U.S. parade, right? You have like some businesses and stuff, but this one was kind of cool because they had like a lot of car dealerships, and the car dealerships had pretty cool like ornate like flower arrangements on the top of their. Like one guy had a brand new Range Rover, and he put like all sorts of flowers and stuff on it, plants. It was really cool. And then some people, like a lot of the new car brands advertising their electric vehicles and stuff like that. So it was pretty interesting though. It was cool. And it actually felt like kind of, I don't know, it was like a legit, like few marching bands and stuff. I didn't know how they did parades here, but it wasn't far from what the U.S. typically does on the holiday, honestly.
Yeah, I typically agree. The only difference I would say is in the US, there's a lot of security and streets are like locked down. You can't move anywhere. Here, it was very open, very nonchalant, not much concern for, like, there wasn't even barricades throughout the whole parade route. There was like a barricade here and there, enough to tell people, hey, stand here and don't come any closer. And there's just not that need for security like there is in the US. So it almost made it like a little bit more wholesome and less like it felt like you could be a part of it a lot more, which I thought was really cool. Yeah. So should we tell them all about the Tulip Barn?
Yeah, so we ventured out to this place called the Tulip Barn. It was pretty cool. It was definitely like a Instagrammable type of place, not like a Kuchenhof. Kuchenhof is like an arrangement of flowers. This place is like, you're next to a windmill and a field of tulips, and on a Vespa. There's like a lot of Instagrammable shots that you could have.
It's like very small. Kuchenhof is ginormous. This was like a patch of flowers.
Yeah, it was still really cool though. It was like kind of like a barnyard type, like farm stand place, which was kind of cool. But yeah, we went there early, and luckily we did, because when we were leaving, I think it was starting to get real busy.
Yeah,
like we were like, yeah, this place in like an hour or two is just going to be absolutely just completely packed. So yeah, we got our pictures, we saw some cool arrangements, and then we took off.
Took off just in time to get back to the train station to see the steam train come through, which I think we should do that. That's another thing I do next year is check out the steam train. It just goes from, I think, Harlem to Leiden. To Leiden. Yeah, to Leiden. Where you get to see all of that. That's where like majority of the tulip fields just on like farmland are.
Yeah.
Which would be really cool. Would you say Tulip Barn is a must?
I think it's cool, especially if you have kids, because there was like a lot of kids. They had good food there too. They had like decent sandwich little trailer thing, and then they had like good fries. And I was thinking the whole time, I was like, yeah, these people will probably just like open up like a bag of fries and put it in a fryer later, and like literally right next to her when I was leaving. there's a lady just like taking potatoes and just like slicing them. Like they put it through the big thing that's like a square grate, and she would just push down. And so I was like, oh, never mind, I was wrong. It was like legit, like potatoes out of the ground and then just straight into the fryer. So it was cool, and they did a good job too with the flavors and stuff. It was good.
Yeah. So you went for the fries, I guess, more than tulips. I like the tulips. I had a good tuna sandwich too, so, or tonin, as they would say in Dutch. We should do a whole episode on fries. Dutch fries are like a big deal here. That's like one of the common things they eat. I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we might have to jump into that.
It was cool. I think the Tulip Barn was cool. I think probably other places with bigger tulip fields and stuff like that you can find just on the side of the highway that are really nice. So
yeah, one of my friends actually did. I should ask her if she saw tulips during it, but she did like a countryside bike tour. I think she just found it on Get Your Guide, which is a great website that hosts tours all over the world, and through more locals. But I wonder if she saw tulip fields there. That would be really cool excursion to do for sure. But I think the tulips are great. Like, John, you're really into photography. So every year you've gotten some amazing pictures of tulips.
Yeah.
And we should definitely do something with. You could probably even like sell portraits with it.
Probably.
But in my case, I thought the tulip barn was cool. I definitely had a totally different image of what I thought it would be. I was expecting like fields of tulips, not just a condensed small area. Still beautiful, but I almost wish that I kind of just went to Kuchenhof instead of going to the tulip barn. Yeah, I agree with you. I think fun if you have kids. Otherwise, skip it. Kuchenhof is 100% the place to go. And truthfully, it's like round trip with transportation. It's like 35 euros a person. As an adult, I don't know what it is as a kid. But yeah, I think I'd vote for Kuchenhof.
Well, it's not like they're like one or the other. Like they're just
That's
two
true.
completely different experiences. Like if you wouldn't say like, okay, I'm going to go to this place, Tulip Barn, instead of Kuchenhof. You would go to like, hey, I'm here for the week. I'm going to go to Kuchenhof, then Tulip Barn, or whatever.
That's true. Very true. I wonder how many tourists. So I saw a stat that said 1.1 million visitors visited Kuchenhof in 2022. And that was like coming off the pandemic. So I'm sure that was a low number because people weren't traveling as much as they are now. But I wonder how many tourists it brings in. You can definitely feel a big tourist presence in the city, for sure. I feel like
it's starting to get busier for sure. Like now, I mean, we're recording this at 9:00 at night, and it looks like it's 4 p.m. outside right now. Like it is daylight, so
yeah,
it's only a matter of time until the sun sets at like 11:15, 11:30, and that's when you start seeing a ton of tourists because there's just so much daylight.
Absolutely.
Not too much longer, actually. I think probably in a month from now, we'll have sunsets at like 10:30, 11 o'clock probably.
Yeah, it's really cool. But the sun also rises early, so it's like kind of like you're in the Nordics or something, just daylight all almost 24 hours. I also just want to bring up, because this is something I really, really want to do since we're talking about flowers, is going to visit the flower exchange, or as it's technically called the Royal Flora Holland, which is a flower auction house, and it's open to the public. So I think it's like 52, I think, American football fields long, which is insane. So it's just like a huge warehouse where they exchange flowers at like retail price, or however that would be phrased. And kind of like the stock market, you can just watch them exchange these flowers. And I think 70% of flowers are exported from the Netherlands worldwide, or some like insane number. So this is definitely the place for flowers. And speaking to we don't know what's happening.
We have a nice winterscape background now.
Yeah, we used to have our logo. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, another crazy fact about Flower Exchange is they export 3 billion tulips from the Netherlands each year too. So big numbers, pretty crazy.
Yeah, the agriculture here for such a small country is pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys want to know more about tulips, shoot us some questions, and we'll answer them in next week's episode. We kind of just wanted to give you a little bit of life in Amsterdam with tulips. So we kept it short and sweet today. But let's touch on.
Or just search on Google and don't email us. That'd be cool too.
Yeah, but if you want like our personal experience, this is an open podcast. They are invited. We want to be in their living room with them, so that experiencing what we're experiencing. So
we should email
us the questions.
Email us for next week how King's Day was. That's what we should.
I think we'll definitely. I think our whole next episode is gonna just start with King's Day. How are you excited for King's Day, or what's your experience in the past with King's Day?
King's Day is very busy. Like, it is all these old streets that are tiny, shoulder to shoulder, and just like tons of people on boats in the canals getting hammered. It is pretty cool seeing the boats though, because some people will have like a boat. They have like a built-in grill on the boat. They have like beer taps on the boat. Like a lot of people, I've seen boats almost like sink because there's so many people on it. I've seen people have too much and they have like a nice, if you guys look at it, they have like a Weir or like a Lecker boats or like a, was it Chris Craft wood boat? And they just go straight. I saw one guy, probably like $100,000 boat, just go straight into the wall of the canal, just all this wood just like cracking and breaking off. But they just like get hammered and just cruise up and down the river. I will say, or the canals, I will say there's a lot of like, so the whole thing is like people celebrate the king's birthday, but there's a ton of flea markets and a lot of like family stuff in some of the parks. Like I know in Vondel Park, Ulster Park, there's a lot of stuff. And there's a ton of people, like you'll see it on Saturday on the sidewalk. People will just like set up tables in front of their houses and just say like name your price. And they just like have the shit out there and then just like whatever you want to buy, like it's for sale.
Yeah, I saw that you don't need permits or anything. You can just set up a table. I was actually in one of the stores, Hema here, the other day, and I saw this like King's Day tape, and I was like, oh, that would be cool to be put on. But I'm pretty sure people just use it to block off like the little section on the ground that they're selling. It's like not caution tape, but like a fancy duct tape.
Yeah, so it'll be pretty cool. There's a lot of concerts. I know at like the Olympic Stadium, I think they have a big concert down there. So there's a lot going on. It'll be fun. And this year it's on a Saturday. Typically, since I've been here, it's been on like a Wednesday or a Thursday. So yeah, somehow it landed on a Saturday this year, but
which sucks because you don't get the day off for it.
Yeah,
unfortunately, I do. Where I work, we're closed. We're usually open on weekends. We're closed on Saturday. But yeah, I'm excited for my first King's Day. I have no idea what to expect. I just know I better show up in orange and ready to squeeze by people. That's about all I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
So let's move on to our Dutch snack of the week. So this one is courtesy of John and actually what his sister's favorite cookie is. I don't know, did she find it or did you find it?
No, I actually had it from coworkers in my office, and the guy was like, "This is really good, but it's probably for a cookie 2,000 calories."
Fair enough.
So you have it, and you're like, "Damn, that's good," but it is heavy. Like it's like concrete that you're eating.
Yeah, we didn't even tell them what it is, though.
It is
so you can go for it.
Well, I was gonna try.
I actually got it here. So it's essentially an almond cookie. Or translated to butter-filled cookie. It's a rombutter gevuld kuek, which rombutter is butter, gevuld filled.
Let's try that again.
It wasn't even close.
Which means butter.
Filled cookie. Yes. Yeah, so we.
That's what it is. But it's butter filled cookie. It's a cookie filled with butter, but it's made from like almond paste and stuff, so it's pretty intense. Yeah, you do not want to like. I mean, this is probably something actually you should bring on like a hike because there's just like a ton of stuff. On the Nutri-Score, which everything here in the Netherlands has like a score A through E, A being the healthiest, E being the worst. It is a big red E.
Yeah, so let's dig in. John's had it before. I've never had it, so I'll give you my first take on it. I got the little ones. I don't know.
Got a little one. Let's see.
It's soft.
It's soft because it's soaked in butter.
I mean, that's really good though.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. If you like butter, I get the marzipan. John was saying it tastes a little bit like marzipan. I get that taste. Shoot, that's really good. I could taste the E, the Nutri-Score E quality. Yeah. Do you like them?
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, I'm going to eat all of it. But I'm going to try not to. Yeah. Really good. I say, if you're here, go to the local grocery store, Albert Heijn, get yourself a box and take some home. Really good. Yeah. Okay. Dutch word phrase of the week. What you got?
I just had it up.
I can just say it for you.
Because
I saw you looking it up. We don't tell each other in advance what it's going to be. But
the sinaasappel, which you would think is some sort of apple thing. Either an apple, a pineapple, or maybe I would even say it's a pear because it's like, but it's really it's an orange. That's what they call oranges here, sinaasappel.
Yeah.
So orange juice is sinaasappel sap.
Yeah. I actually learned that the hard way at work. We were having a team meeting and I had this whole conversation with somebody about sinaasappel, orange. So my Dutch word of the week is, I'm not even going to pronounce it right, but my coworker said it to me today, and I was like, shoot, I think I know what that means. Goedendag, which translates to good day. So it's like midday or like just a proper greeting. Do you know what that is? Did I not say it right?
Typically we'll say goeiedag.
Goeiedag. Well, I got goedendag. Yeah, just like a proper greeting, like hi, good morning, good day, goedendag. Super simple, nothing too exciting. I feel like I always say that about my Dutch words of the week.
Why don't you pick a more exciting one?
I think that's a practical one. So if you're coming to visit, you can just be like, goedendag. I think I'm getting better at Dutch. My pronunciation is getting there. I feel like I made a friend who's also American the other week, and she's really actively trying to speak Dutch. And I think it's been really helpful for me because we can kind of bounce off each other with having no background in Dutch. So it's nice. Yeah. So we'll wrap this one up. A nice short, sweet episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, with following the tulips, if you guys have any questions, shoot us a question. We'll be happy to answer it on our next podcast episode. You guys can just direct message us on Instagram. You can find us at a couple of expats _podcasts, or you can dip right into our YouTube comments and we'll answer your questions. Thanks so much for joining us for episode 4, and we look forward to sharing all of our King's Day experience and a little bit more in the next episode. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.